Hi, my name is Shinko. Welcome to my channel. We have been attempting to escape from reality and the horrors of real life with the Warriors Fire and Dice, but we finished that book, which was the second book in the Warrior series. We're starting number 3, Forest of Secrets. Excuse the background. I know I say in my videos, I preface this by saying we're escaping from reality, and it totally looks like I'm in reality right now. Like I'm at a job. But yeah, I apologize. Here's Alex. Alex says hi. Okay, never mind. So, we ended the second book with a lot to think about. So, we're just going to go through the introduction. And of course, Alex is going to be popping in and out. When you first open the book, you're met again with the allegiance. What cat, whose cat is who, what side they're on. Also, introduction, hello. If you're new, you can check out my previous videos. I've read the first and second book. If you're new, interested, and you like cats, hey. But I do have to preface this that this series does have life and death. Characters come and go. So if you can't handle that type of thing, maybe don't. But we start off with ThunderClan, obviously Blue Star, Tiger Claw, you know, the cats we know. The only difference you're going to see will be down with Cats Outside Clan and the end of ThunderClan. Broken Tail is listed as an elder, which is kind of what his title would be if he wasn't a prisoner. The Cats outside the clans, you still have Blackfoot and Boulder, who were with Broken Tail and were the rogues. So you still have Princess, you still have Ravenpaw, and you still have Smudge and Barley. So, obviously the map, there's 4 trees where they meet every month. Over here will be ThunderClan. Over here is WindClan camp. Over here, way at the top will be Highstones. And around here, on this end is ShadowClan. And RiverClan is down here. Now, some interesting information you do learn from the map of the human side is that over here, where RiverClan is, it's now labeled Morgan's Farm campsite. So the 2 legs, the humans, have officially made part of RiverClan's territory a campsite. And humans call the 4 trees Druid's Hollow. There's the road. And Highstones, as an interesting fact, is the Devil's Finger. It's a disused mine. So that's all the information you can gather. Now, this is the 3rd book, so we can kind of notice a trend when you're reading the prologue. It kind of sets the tone for what you're going to be reading in this book. The first one, for example, talked about prophecies, and fire being something that would save the clans. Prophecies was a big thing in the first book. And in the second book, the prologue featured WindClan finding their camp in the underneath the thunder paths, the roads, the freeway. So you can kind of gather when you're reading the prologue, okay, this is going to be kind of centered, themed around this. So with that in mind, we'll begin. Cold gripped the forest, fields, and moorland like an icy claw. Snow covered everything, glittering faintly under a new moon Nothing broke the silence in the forest except for the occasional soft rush of snow sliding from the branches of trees and the faint rasping of dried reeds when the wind swept through them. Even the murmur of the river was stilled by the ice that stretched from bank to bank. There was a flicker of movement at the edge of the river. A large tomcat, his bracken-colored fur fluffed up against the cold, emerged from the reeds. He shook snow impatiently from his paws as he sank into the soft drifts with every step. In front of him, 2 tiny kits struggled forward with faint mews of distress. They floundered in the powdery snow, the fur on their legs and belly matted into icy clumps, but every time they tried to stop, the tomcat nudged them on. The 3 cats trudged along the river until it widened out, and they drew level with a small island not far from the bank. Thick beds of reeds surrounded it, their dry stems poking up through the ice. Stunted, leafless willow trees concealed the center of the island behind snow-covered boughs. "Almost there," the bracken-colored Tom meowed encouragingly. "Follow me." He slid down the bank into a narrow frozen pathway through the reeds and leaped onto the dry, crisp earth of the island. The bigger of the 2 kids scrambled after him, but the smaller one collapsed on the ice and crouched there, mewing pitifully. After a moment's pause, the tomcat jumped down beside it and tried to nudge it to its paws, but the kit was too exhausted to move. The tomcat gave its ears a lick, roughly comforting the helpless scrap, and then picked it up by the scruff of his neck and carried it onto the island. Beyond the willow trees was a stretch of open ground broken by bushes. Snow covered the earth here, crisscrossed by the paw marks of many cats. The clearing seemed deserted, but bright eyes gleamed from shelter, watching the tomcat as he led the way to the largest clump of bushes and through the outer wall of tangled branches. The icy chill of the air outside gave way to the warmth of the nursery and the smell of milk. In a deep nest of moss and heather, a gray she-cat was suckling a single tabby kit. She raised her head as the tomcat drew closer and gently set down the kit he was carrying. The second kit staggered into the nursery behind him and tried to scrabble its way into the nest. "Oakheart," meowed the she-cat. "What have you got there?" "Kits, Graypool," Oakheart replied. "Will you take them? They need a mother to look after them." "But," Graypool's amber eyes were shocked. "Whose kits are they? They're not RiverClan's. Where did you get them?" "I found them in the forest." Oakheart did not meet the she-cat's eyes as he spoke. "They're lucky a fox didn't find them first." "In the forest?" meowed the queen, her voice rasping with disbelief. "Oakheart, don't talk to me as if I'm mouse-brained. What cat would abandon her kits in the forest, especially in weather like this?" Oakheart shrugged. "Rogues, maybe, or 2 legs. How would I know? I couldn't leave them there, could I?" He nosed the smaller kit, which was laying completely still except for the rapid rise and fall of its tiny ribs as it breathed. "Graypool, please. Your other kits died, and these will die too, unless you help them." Graypool's eyes clouded with pain. She looked down at the 2 kits. Their tiny mouths gasped pink as they mewed pitifully. "I have plenty of milk," she murmured, half to herself. "Of course I'll take them." Oakheart puffed out his breath in a sigh of relief. He picked up the first one and then the other and laid them next to Graypool. She nudged them gently into the curve of her belly next to her own kit, where they began to suckle eagerly. "I still don't understand," Graypool meowed when they were settled. "Why would 2 kits be alone in the forest, in the middle of leaf bare? Their mother must be frantic." The bracken-covered Tom prodded a piece of moss with one massive front paw. I didn't steal them, if that's what you're thinking. Graypool looked at him for a long moment. No, I don't think you did, she meowed at last. But you're not telling me the whole truth, are you? I've told you all you need to know. No, you haven't. Graypool's eyes flashed with anger. What about their mother? I know what it's like to lose kits. Oakhart, I wouldn't wish that kind of grief on any cat. Oakhart lifted his head and glared at her, a faint growl coming from the depths of his throat. Their mother is probably some rogue cat. This is not the weather to go looking for her. But Oakhart, just take care of the kits, please. The bracken-colored Tom sprang to his paws and turned abruptly to push his way out of the nursery. I'll bring you some fresh kill, he meowed over his shoulder as he left. When he had gone, Graypool bent her head over the kits, rasping her tongue over their fur to warm them. The melting snow had washed away most of their scent, though Graypool could still make out the odors of the forest, of dead leaves and frostbitten earth. There was something beneath that, fainter still. Graypool paused in her licking. Had she really sensed that? Or was she imagining things? Dipping her head again, she opened her mouth to breathe in the kit's scent. Her eyes grew wider, and she stared unblinking into the dark shadows that edged the nursery. She was not wrong. The fur of these two motherless kits, whose origins Oakhart refused to explain, unmistakably carried the scent of an enemy clan. Chapter 1. Okay, so I do want to end it there. Chapter 1 is a little long. And the last time I uploaded a really long video, it took days, to which I really apologize for last week and this week's upload schedule. We finished the last book and I wanted to get it all out. I started uploading it and it took literally 3 to 4 days of nonstop, slowly ticking, uploading. I even turned my phone off at some point and turned it back on later. And it was like the engine that could. It was still trucking so slowly. I apologize. So my video's not going to be an hour long anymore. Don't worry about that. But I do want to get back to the subject of what we just read. So if we're taking back the first 2 books, the prologues that we read, and kind of what the theming was, the second book really was about WindClan and bringing them home. The first about prophecies and dreams. This was kind of about Kit, an enemy clan. So, let's assume Graypool is not mistaken that it is an enemy clan. Well, Oakhart and Graypool, River Clan. I'm not sure if you remember. Oakhart, we never got to meet him. He was who was killed early on with Redtail in the first book. So, he's in River Clan. So, the smell was of the forest. The only forest right here. Well, I suppose if you went farther, you could be closer to Shadow Clan. But really, the closest place, if we're staying with the details and the clues that we do have of the forest, it's very possible those kits came from Thunder Clan. So, also, since this was obviously at a time that Oakhart was alive, this, what we read in the prologue, happened before Fireheart came into the clan, before our main character became a warrior. So, this is an act that's happened probably years previous. This act is clearly going to affect relations and what's going to happen in this book later on. Kits are going to be a theme. And what we also saw with the second book is loyalty. Loyalty to your clan, loyalty to your family, essentially. So, if we're going to piece the clues together just from the knowledge that we have, it's possible the kids came from ThunderClan or Shadow Clan if you're reaching, but it makes more sense if it's ThunderClan. So we'll go with that. What could that potentially mean? What mother would give her kid up? A warrior mom wouldn't do that. She would have a nursery. She would have resources. So it doesn't make sense. So maybe they came from a source where they weren't supposed to come. I.e., Yellowfang had kids. She's a medicine cat. Maybe they were medicine cat's kids. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Oakheart did steal some kids. You don't know. Something I will point out, though, is maybe it's neither. It could also be that perhaps, well, I'm treading lightly here, but Gray Stripe and Silverstream kind of are starting a thing together. So it's not that far of a reach to suppose perhaps other cats in the past from different clans have fallen for each other. Do you think kids could have come from that? I mean, there's only really 3 ways these kids could have come to be. Well, I'll leave it at that. I'll be uploading this video tonight. You'll be watching it probably tomorrow. I will be reading the first chapter. We'll be getting into this. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Be safe out there in this crazy mixed up universe of ours, because people are nuts.